So let's look at the number of positions available. This is something from the official journal, from the notice of competition, where you can see the number of places in the reserve list, which is drawn at the very end of the competition, from which EU institutions can offer employment. Translators, the two options combined, there are 70 translator positions available, quite a large number. This really provides very good chances for anyone interested in this type of job. Interpreters, for 85 there are 15 positions, for 87 there are 20 positions. Lawyer linguists, 35 positions, again a relatively high number because this really offers you very good chances to succeed. And then the administrators, it is not known. This is again an educated guess, our guesstimate, that we think that there will be at least 80 administrator positions announced in September. This is to be seen on the 13th of September when this information is revealed. But this is something that we believe is very much likely to be offered for Croatian speakers. Application deadlines, very briefly put, the current exams for translators, interpreters and lawyer linguists, 24th of July, noon Brussels time. Please do not miss the deadline. Do not forget to validate your application. It's not enough to start the application. There is a special button if you finish everything to validate, meaning you send that to EPSO, and that is when it becomes official. They will not send you a reminder that you started your application but you did not finish. Do not forget this. For the exams announced in September, the 16th of October will be the deadline to apply for those exams. Where the EU jobs are, very simply and briefly put, in terms of institutions, EPSO draws up reserve lists for any EU institution, and any EU institution can recruit you based on these reserve lists. And this is not widely communicated, but it's a fact that even if you pass a translator exam, but you happen to be offered a policy job in another institution, the fact that you have passed a selection competition through EPSO, it makes you eligible to take up even a different job than the exam that you passed. This is not the common scenario, but it is certainly possible. So the recruitment can happen to any of the institutions from the European Commission all the way to the Court of Auditors or the Committee of the Regions. The place of work, essentially it's Brussels, Luxembourg or Strasbourg, but de facto Strasbourg is not employing more than a handful of EU officials, so it's Brussels and Luxembourg essentially. And maybe later in your career you have a chance to move around because there are EU delegations, representations in all of the member states and more than 130 countries around the world. Now let's look at how to get one of these jobs, because this is a question that is on everybody's mind. So let's get our hands dirty and let's get very practical in how to prepare and how to get this nailed as well as possible. Well, eligibility, obviously a key issue to make sure that you have all these formal criteria that we discussed. For lawyer linguists, there is a so-called sifting in. So they look at your profile, your work history and background to make sure that you have the right qualifications. And there is a pre-selection. As a main rule, there's a pre-selection exam, which can take different forms, something I will look at. Once you pass the pre-selection exam, which is a tough thing because most candidates, more than 95% of candidates, are selected out in the pre-selection, there is an assessment center where you need to pass certain tests, after which is the reserve list which is drawn up. And once you're in the reserve list, you can interview for a very specific position.